Today's topic has actually been a really hot topic in the group. I've seen a lot of people post asking questions about this particular topic. And so I wanted to address it, not only from my perspective as, a doctor of a board certified doctor of natural medicine, but also from the perspective of a mom who's been there, done that. So today's topic is chiropractic care the magic bullet? So I know that you've seen in this group a lot of talk about chiropractic care. You've seen in the other group a lot of talk about chiropractic care. So does it really is a very hot topic, a really good question. So, we know as parents that it's heartbreaking, it's debilitating and difficult to watch our kids struggle with these tics, with these bodily movements that they cannot control. And it really seems like there's no escape from the daily discomfort, the uncontrollable muscle spasms, the vocalization. And as parents, our hearts break and we're like, what do we do? And so we do what we do best, which is these days it's Google. Back in 1985, we used the encyclopedia from 1976. So when we are looking at ways to help our children, when the conventional model is not supporting us, when the person that we trust the most with our child's health says, just sweep it under the rug or just ignore it, they'll grow out of it, or here's your prescription, be on your way. We really feel like, well, what do? We don't have anyone else to turn to. So we turn to the internet. And when we do that, one of the things we find is, can chiropractic care help with our child's tic disorder? And you've probably seen a lot of parents say that, yes, it was the magic bullet. Here's what I'll tell you. For some people, chiropractic care can be the magic bullet, but for most people, it is not. And it is what I call a complementary service, a complementary program that you are going to do along with whatever else you're doing to care for your child's tics. So 1 in 5 children usually will experience some kind of tic disorder in their life. However, it is estimated that the children diagnosed with tic disorders and Tourette's is wildly undiagnosed. It really doesn't, you see a lot of things about how tic disorders are mainly boys, but I'll tell you, I don't think it discriminates. I see a lot of girls and I see a lot of boys with tic disorders. But we can look at chiropractic care as an alternative complementary option to help manage our symptoms. So first, we're going to talk about the central nervous system. So this is why chiropractic care can help mitigate some symptoms. It may not make all of your symptoms go away, and we're going to dig into that as we talk today. But how many of you, I would love to know, how many of you have tried chiropractor for your child? So say yes. Yes, if you have tried the chiropractor. I can absolutely say yes. So just before we dive into the central nervous system, I'll give you a little bit of backstory about chiropractor. So when I was pregnant with my son, who was diagnosed with a tic disorder, I slipped and fell at Walmart. There was hair conditioner all over the floor, and it really messed me up. So I actually started going to the chiropractor while I was pregnant with my son, because I had to get my spine back in alignment. Well, turns out that my son was trapped under my ribs and he could not get out. When I went into labor, I had to have a C-section because he was trapped under my ribs. So we had a lot of trauma at birth. It took 4 doctors to actually pull him out. I'm a small woman and he was really stuck in there. And so when he was born, we actually started seeing the chiropractor pretty frequently because he had this, torticollis. He had this stiffening of these neck muscles because of the way he had been trapped inside me. And so we actually started with him with the chiropractor pretty early. And then he started getting frequent ear infections. And of course, I'm searching the internet, and, we were looking at, okay, we're not getting this drainage going on. He had a clogged tear duct. And so we were going to the chiropractor there. And so we have been going to the chiropractor for a very long time. My son was seeing a chiropractor before he was even born. And was it the magic bullet? I will tell you, for us, it was not. Was it very relaxing for him? Did it help him to kind of unwind? Yes, but it wasn't the magic bullet. And there's so many reasons that for him and for a lot of my clients that chiropractors are not the magic bullet. So the central nervous system controls and coordinates all of the functions in the entire body. And sometimes misalignments may pinch a nerve, exacerbate a tic. So when you're looking at, I am not a chiropractor, but when you're looking at the spine, your nerves are going through the spinal cord. And sometimes, our we get out of alignment. Maybe we get, a pinched nerve. And so what that chiropractor is doing is helping to put you back into alignment, whether it's starting at your neck or, lower down in your spine. What we are looking at is really putting that spine back into alignment, which really can help exacerbate some symptoms if your child's tic disorder really stems from a physical misalignment of the spine. So you have to know what is happening inside your body, your child's body especially. Is it a physical misalignment of the spine that is impacting the central nervous system? And so a lot of chiropractors believe that tic symptoms can get worsened if there is that misalignment. So what they are doing is helping to put that alignment back on track so that we can mitigate some symptoms. So that's number one. We really know that those movements can be controlled by the central nervous system, but we also have to know some other things that we're going to talk about. One of the next things we're going to talk about is number two is the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve may also play a role when it comes to misalignment, but it plays a bigger role in a lot of other things. So the vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve stretching all the way from the brain to the abdomen. You guys have heard me say the gut and brain are connected. The vagus nerve is what's going to connect the gut and the brain. It helps control functions of the face, neck muscles, stomach, heart, lungs, kidney, liver, intestines, blood pressure regulations. And so there's not a lot of study about this yet, but it's thought that some of what's happening with the vagus nerve and the impact on the vagus nerve may play a role in tics themselves. So when we're talking about the vagus nerve, we have to know that, yes, it is a nerve, but it's also helping with all of these other functions within the body. So as we look at that, we have to know, is there a misalignment in our child's spine? Is there something going on with the vagus nerve? So we can just simply look at the vagus nerve from the chiropractic standpoint. Is there the misalignment? What's impacting that vagus nerve? Okay, let's get you back on track. But when we are looking at it from the holistic natural perspective, we have to look at what else impacts the vagus nerve? What else impacts the gut brain connection? And this is why we go deeper. This is why when my clients work with me, we are looking at what's going on inside the body. This is why we want to go deeper. So there's many things that can impact the vagus nerve. Leaky gut can impact the vagus nerve. Leaky gut with food sensitivities can impact the vagus nerve. Leaky gut and pathogens can impact the vagus nerve. So underlying infections, pathogens, food sensitivities, inflammation in the gut, these can all impact the vagus nerve. So if we're simply looking at our spine and misalignment, we may miss what's actually going on in our child's body. So this is why chiropractic is, for me, so complementary in getting your child in alignment, especially if they're sitting in a desk all day, if they're not getting a lot of movement. Yes, I do see when we look at holistic does not mean I'm going to rub my crystals all over you and sage you. That's not what holistic means. Holistic means looking at the whole body. So you have to take into account the physical, which we're going to look at, that alignment, but you also have to take into account environmental. What's impacting them outside? So, is it toxins? Is it flame retardants? Is it pesticides? Is it the crappy food they're eating? What's going on in their environment? Then you have to look biologically. What's going on inside their body? Is it an underlying infection? Is it leaky gut? Is it food sensitivities? Is it pathogens? Is it so many other things? So is it heavy metals? Is it a mycotoxin? We've talked about toxins a couple times. Is it a mycotoxin or fungal toxin? Like, what is happening inside their body that might also be impacting that vagus nerve? So you have to look at all of the body systems, not just one. And so this is why people might find that chiropractic, well, it helps some of the symptoms, get mitigated. It helps their child relax. It helps to calm that central nervous system flare, that over dysfunction. But when it doesn't get rid of all of the symptoms, then we know it's time to go deeper. And this is why all of my clients that work with me, we are going to look at 935 different biomarkers. We're going to look at what's going on inside the body. So I have a proprietary protocol that starts with using something called comprehensive neuroimmune analysis. This is where we're taking a look inside the body. We're looking at over 935 different biomarkers. So we're looking at what's happening environmentally inside the body. Like, what are those impacts? Are there toxins? Are there mold? Are there fungus? Are there underlying infections? Is there leaky gut? Is there food sensitivities? What's going on genetically? So genetics is actually a really important piece of the puzzle. And so when we're looking at comprehensive neuroimmune analysis, we're looking at how we take all of these pieces of the puzzle and put them together. Physical misalignment, chiropractic care, one piece of the puzzle. And for me, when we're doing holistic, we need to look at all of those pieces of the puzzle and how they fit together. So that's why that comprehensive neuroimmune analysis is really important for helping us to get our kids back on track. So we want our kids to be able to take center stage. They miss out on so many things in life because of the things that they're struggling with. I mean, they're embarrassed to go out to dinner, go to a movie with a friend because maybe they clear their throat the entire time, or they say, Francisco, like my son, we couldn't take him to the movies. There were so many things that we missed out on because we weren't looking deep enough. And this is why I created the comprehensive neuroimmune analysis. So once we've taken a look at that, then we can use the foundational connection method to connect those dots, figure out what's going on inside their body. And we're not just looking at paper. There's several of my clients on here who can tell you, like, we're not just looking at paper. We're looking at everything that's going on in and around the body. And then we are connecting those dots. And then we are able to apply a restorative rescue strategy. So something that's individualized for each and every one of the clients, the children, the families that I'm working with. There is something different. Everybody has something different going on inside their bodies. So, in short, is chiropractic care the magic bullet? Although we can see you guys have tried it. I mean, Danielle tried it, Kirk tried it, Jennifer Peterman has tried it, I've tried it. I'm sure so many of you watching the replay are like, well, I've tried it, and I've tried it, and I've tried it. But they found that ultimately it doesn't make the tics go away. But like I said, it's very complementary. It can help reduce symptoms. But when we're looking at the many, many layers of a tic disorder, although poor alignment may be a contributing factor, it's most likely not the main problem. So, we really have to look at what's going on inside the body.